Good afternoon and you're welcome from the commercial break. Now, the price that you pay for every litre of petroleum product is expected to go up this week. Now, this has been influenced by the expected adjustment of petroleum product that happens every 2 weeks. I tried to explore the impact of this for you as a consumer in this report. Checks by Joy Business show that the expected adjustment is being influenced by the continuous increase in price of crude oil on the international market. The commodity over the past 3 weeks has witnessed a significant increase and is currently trading at around $47 a barrel. Our forecast suggests that diesel will witness the biggest jump and is expected to go up by some 1.43% per litre. So if a gallon of diesel is currently being sold at 16 Ghana cedis 29 pesos, then by Friday or this weekend, a gallon could be going for 16 Ghana cedis 52 pesos. Petrol will go up by under 1% per litre, whilst LPG will also see a similar margin of increase per kilogram. However, due to the current policy where each of the over 90 oil marketing companies are allowed to set their own prices, then there is a likelihood that not all these firms would increase their prices at the pumps in the coming days. For instance, during the last review, market leader Guel kept its price unchanged at the pumps, a development that forced the other giants in the industry to also reduce their prices after an initial increase. Some may even hold their prices at the pumps during this new pricing window. But with projections of a price pickup in crude oil on the international market, how long can these firms keep their prices unchanged? Coordinator of the oil marketing companies, Kweku Ajimandia, believes the only way out is for government to take away some of the taxes on the products.
Presently what we have now, we have huge taxes and levies on the price buildup, and our volumes are really dwindling. So if you're going to have this one and the levels of, because the level of sulfur, the cost going up, that would be very bad. But what we are content with, that's what government is also giving. At this point in time, when we are going for this one and the cost is going to be unbearable, government should come in and get the taxes lowered to be able to accommodate so that the people can also buy the fuel. The high level of taxes is an issue, and we have a high stock turnover because we are not able to turn around the stocks because of the competition. And what it means also is that the taxes that we have to pay, we have a shorter period to pay the taxes. And once we pay the taxes without even finishing our stocks, we are in the red already. Look at the length of time that we are given to pay the taxes. If we pay the tax elsewhere, as you sell, you pay the taxes.
Well, whilst you look at the impact of rising crude on the local consumer, there are some developments on the Jubilee field that is affecting government's revenue badly, despite the pickup in price of crude oil. Now, this is due to challenges with the Jubilee FPSO, which has affected crude production in the country and the volumes that it exports. So that was a piece that I put together as we try to analyze the impact of this for you as a consumer. So there are arguments currently ongoing whether government should take off some of the taxes on petroleum products. Let's speak to the Deputy Executive Director of the African Center for Energy Policy, Ben Boakye, who has joined us on the line for some analysis on this issue. Good afternoon, Ben Boakye, and you're welcome to Marketplace.
Good afternoon, George.
And I hope you're doing good this afternoon.
Oh, we are on managing it. Yeah.
So let me first ask you, Ben, what do you make of the current development on the world market and expectations or projections that prices are going to go up when it comes to petroleum products as well as the price of crude?
Yes, I think we fought for the deregulation, and I mean the underlying assumption is that once prices are going up, you expect that there is a pass-through effect, which means that the cost will be passed on to consumers, so that government doesn't have the burden of subsidizing or having to overstretch its budget to raise financing to subsidize price adjustments. So the pass-through effect is right for it to go. But the difficulty we have had from the beginning of the deregulation is the quantum or the number of taxes that are on the product. because you want to spare productivity. You want to make sure that industry is growing, because fuel is important for the development of a country. So you don't want to overburden the primary input to productivity, but rather make it possible for people to be productive, buy fuel, and be able to feed industry. But we see a lot of levies and taxes. On petroleum products alone, we have the energy debt recovery levy, we have the road fund,
so,
we have the
Ben, I was coming to that one, Ben, because can you help us with the price build-up on each liter of petroleum product when it comes to the levies on that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Several levies on them, and you're talking about close to 41% of the cost of every liter you buy being for taxes alone, which is quite significant. So if the pressure is on the pocket of the consumer, you would expect that the government will look at how much it is taking and reduce those taxes. And even some of those levies we think have overlaid their purpose. For example, the toll debt recovery levy, where we estimate that we have paid that debt as consumers. So if government didn't use the money to offset the debt of toll, for how long are we going to continue to pay that kind of debt? We also had special taxes introduced, which is 17.5% on petroleum taxes. We are told consistently that it's supposed to be a levy for a period or tax for a period, but nobody knows when that tax is going to go of the petroleum product. As we speak, we are even paying price stabilization levy, which is supposed to smooth in prices when they keep escalating. What is happening to that money? Nobody knows. As we speak, we have paid a little over 400 million Ghana cedis. We are not being told whether there is that window to use that to even stabilize the price so that consumers are not called upon to pay. We just keep paying, and nobody is utilizing the price stabilization levy. So I think we need to be accounted to for that money as well. So these are some of the things that, yeah.
Sorry to come in, but so do you think that the time is right to take off some of these taxes on each liter of petroleum product?
Yes, the time is right. I mean, you can't have prices always going up. It also affects inflation. And so if we have the mechanism to smooth in the adjustment at this point, like I mentioned, we have price stabilization levy. And the argument that was made was that we have to make some savings, and when we see prices escalating, then we can smoothen it with the levy. But nobody's talking about what to use the levy for at this point. We keep just paying, and prices are going up. And the only reason why we could impose taxes was because prices on the international market were dropping, and government took advantage to take up some of the difference, rather than reducing it for consumers. But if prices are going back up, can we, take away some of the taxes to make it easier for citizens and industry to survive?
Ben, what would you tell? I mean, on the side of government, the argument is that when you even look at their fiscal numbers up to July, revenue is not doing good. So let's still keep these taxes there as a buffer for other sectors that are not doing well.
Revenue is never going to be good when you are taxing primary inputs. Fuel is a primary input. So if you see the lazy way of taxing the primary inputs, nobody's going to produce. So there is no way you're going to have revenues coming in from the other sectors when there's no productivity. And that is why we have to make sure that we engineer the productive sector to be able to produce, to be able to employ, to be able to improve on other sectors, so the people can pay taxes. But we can decide to tax the primary inputs, the fuels and the electricity, and that costs business. So that is what we have to be looking at, to make sure that we are growing, so we can multiply the sources of taxes, and that is how you grow an economy.
Ben Boakye, I thank you so much for your time, for joining us this afternoon on Marketplace with those insightful thoughts there about whether the time has come to review some of the prices or taxes on every liter of petroleum product. Ben Boakye is the Deputy Executive Director of ASEP, with those interesting thoughts there. And I hope that you're taking some thoughts out of it on what he's making for us to take off the taxes on each liter of price of petroleum product. Let's still stay within the oil industry, because Tullow Oil has indicated that it could be doing more explorations or new explorations here in Ghana. Tullow currently is leading explorations on the Jubilee field as well as on the 10 field. Now, Tullow is saying that they're doing this because they see Ghana as very critical to developing their assets in the West African region. Eden Heavy recently disclosed this to Joy Business on one of his trips here to Ghana.
We are looking at exploring, the explorationists are working flat out, looking at new prospects around the existing facilities and fields. So we are very confident. Like there's a lot of oil to be found in Ghana yet. I think this is the start. This is the start of the whole industry.
You see us getting close to us calling ourselves an industry when it comes to oil exploration? Because some are saying that we are still at the infant stage.
No, Ghana's not at the infant stage. Like, it is an industry. It's got, it now has two major fields, Jubilee and 10. It's got loads of local companies servicing the industry. It's got large employment, loads of expertise. This is an industry, and it's a growing industry, and it'll move from strength to strength. There'll be more exploration area found. E&I are also developing a project. It'll be a third one. Then you're going to have the gas industry growing. Like, this is now an industry. This is not in its infancy. It's up and running.
And that was Aiden Havey. He is the chief executive of Tullow Oil. We'll be taking a short commercial break. When we come back on Marketplace, there are lots of interesting stuff for you as we tell you more developments happening in the economy as well as other sectors. This is Marketplace. You're welcome to Marketplace, the program that looks at the trending issues here on the local economy and how they affect you and I when it comes to trade, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to services, as well as developing issues on the international market and how they affect you and I. Well, the World Bank says it expects the contribution of IT-related services to the economy to significantly actually go up following the inauguration of the Accra Digital Center. Now, according to the bank, contribution to GDP is expected to go up from 1.5 to 2.5%. The $8.3 billion facilities financed by the World Bank and the Rockefeller Foundation is expected to help develop the particular sector. Now, here is more on this issue by my colleague, Darryl Kwao.
The Digital Center is a collection of 12 old warehouses of the Public Works Department, which have been renovated into world-class office buildings. It forms part of plans being developed to boost the innovation of the digital system here in Ghana. Speaking at the inauguration, Country Director of the World Bank, Henry Kirali, explained how the country can leverage information communication technology to attain economic growth.
Business process outsourcing offers tremendous opportunity for Ghana and for Ghanaians to develop a robust IT-enabled services industry, create jobs, particularly for the youth, for women, for disadvantaged communities, and thereby generate export revenue and provide better services for domestic industries. Your Excellency, as you have seen, the Accra Digital Center provides grade A real estate facilities for IT-enabled services and business process outsourcing. It is therefore the first state-of-the-art ICT park in Accra. With this digital IT center, we expect up to 10,000 jobs to be generated, but the impacts will go beyond Accra.
President Mahama officially opened the facility at a ceremony in Accra. But exactly how would businesses benefit from this center? Communications Minister Edward Omane-Boamah explained.
Mr. President, here at the BPO Center, the needs of businesses that have many processes outside of their core making components, such as payroll, expense reimbursement, call center support services, including medical transcription services and technology support, will find lasting solutions to their needs. We know businesses find these processes as both time-consuming and cumbersome. This BPO center is here to serve your needs, so companies, local and foreign, be of good cheer. The Accra Digital Center has come to serve you. This center is open to all, including foreign companies, and we are impressed and encouraged by the number of companies eagerly waiting to be signed on as tenants to commence business here.
The Digital Center is said to be the largest digital park in West Africa.
Now, let's still stay on issues relating to the economy, because government over the years has embarked on several campaigns to boost the consumption of goods produced locally. It recently launched the Made in Ghana policy to help boost consumption locally. But some policymakers or some analysts believe that this policy hasn't been structured in a way that will get the desired result. My colleague, Shera Tamaklo, has more.
The Made in Ghana policy was launched to encourage the consumption of local goods and services and ultimately improve Ghana's trade balance and support the growth of local industries. However, some players say the policy still has a few lapses. William Olmsted is the MD of Fairnut Ghana.
This was one of those real examples to me of bureaucracy run wild. And they imposed a lot of regulations that had nothing to do with ensuring that products were made in Ghana, but at the same time took out so many Ghanaian products. Probably the primary example is, under the regulations as they existed 9 months ago, you had to have an ISO 9001 certification. I don't know if you've ever been through the process, but it's a very long, involved process. You have to bring in outside auditors several times. You have to have a stack of paperwork like this. But most Ghanaian businesses of our size or smaller just don't have the resources, let alone kind of the understanding. And it has nothing to do with ensuring that things are good here. I mean, it's the kind of certification you would want to have if you were exporting. But it doesn't have anything to do with consumption within the business and building value-added industries.
Mr. Olmsted is also making a case to improve credit to businesses to address some of their current challenges.
If I were to incorporate this as an American company, I could go to American government sources and get loans at 2.6% to develop this business here. But there's nothing like that for Ghanaian businesses. I think the government should be providing development funds to allow us to expand our industries and thereby expand tax rolls and jobs and everything else. I think government, I mean, that's probably the biggest problem, is we can't get access to finance. I mean, the Made in Ghana is an issue, the Voc Tech problem is an issue, but if we could get finance, we could get around most of those things. But there are very, very few businesses that can be profitable if they're having to finance themselves at 30% interest rates. You just can't do it.
Generally, the indigenous manufacturing companies are critical to the growth of Ghana's economy. They command a huge labor force. To ensure they contribute more, however, what these businesses need now is a more friendly environment.
Sheila Tamaklo with that report. Let's do some business fun. And starting a business in the building and construction industry is quite tough. But 1 year since its establishment, Project Bureau Limited is making mark in the industry. It's founded by a young entrepreneur, Habakkuk Amach Otebel. Darrell Kwao is on the ground with him today to look at how things are looking like in this particular industry.
Habakkuk Amach Otebel is an entrepreneur with great determination. Today, he's trying to strike a deal for a construction project, one of several he's been able to secure within the 1 year he started Project Bureau Limited. Amach originally wanted to be an agripreneur, but would later find himself working for a building and construction firm after school. Then he started developing an interest in building and construction, but he knew it would be a tough industry to venture into.
I felt that I didn't have a choice but to start something. So yes, the fears were there, but I never looked at them.
What kind of fear?
At the beginning, I was worried about where to get customers because I didn't know, and people didn't know me to be okay, I was in the industry, but I was starting fresh. So I had to convince people to give me a job to do, and not knowing where the next salary would come from.
Finding clients, capital to start, and of course an office space, those would be Amache's initial headache.
At the time I had a car, small car, so I decided to operate from the car.
Tell me about that experience, operating from your car.
The car didn't have air conditioning. There was no AC. It was just me, my laptop, and my phone that I used as Wi-Fi. And then I bought a mobile fixed line that I also used to make calls. So when I call you, the number would come as a fixed line. So it made a lot of sense to people who received my call. And it was one of those very challenging moments where the doomsday was at its peak.
In a matter of time, he secured his first contract to work on a drainage project.
Interestingly, it was my former employer who gave me my first job.
What was that?
It was a drainage work at one of their warehouses. So I went to my former boss one day, and I identified a challenge at the warehouse, and I told him that I could help them fix it. He said, okay, bring your bill. So I submitted the bill, and he said, but how are you going to do it? Where are your people? I said, okay, I'll team up with someone. So we teamed up, we got the job, and then we executed it very well. So since then, I think I've gone ahead to do about 3 or 4 jobs for them.
And that was the beginning of several recommendations for Amache. He's secured several other projects since then, but that's not enough for him. He's got a great vision for Ghana's real estate industry too.
So what I want to champion, actually, with or without government, is the quality of buildings and the quality of structures that we put up, and to make sure that even if we end up developing our own estate, we develop in such a way that it meets not just Ghanaian standards, but world standards, where anybody looking at it from any part of the world will appreciate the kind of quality that has gone into the. I think that is what is lacking in our industry.
And well, his earlier dream of becoming an agripreneur, well, that has not totally gone down the drain. He hopes to take it up sometime in the future. And that ends our show this week. My name is Deregulation. The show is brought to you by Busy, Making Good Things Happen, and EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Well, that was indeed our vintage Deregulation with that report over there. You can stay interactive with us on Twitter as at Joy Business, on Facebook as Joy Business, and also on www.myjoyonline.com/business. My name is George Yaffe. This is Marketplace, where we look at all the topical issues that affect you and I. And you know one thing, the same place, the same time, be here to watch the Marketplace. George Yaffe is my name. I am off.